everyone, this is Susie from Minnesota Zone 4, and in this video I'm going to go over light requirements for starting seeds indoors. So you can see in my grow light system here, the lights are on. What I usually do is I wait about 2-3 days before I put the lights on. Some people might just have the lights on right away, but I find that germination doesn't occur that quick. So up to you. I just found that that works for me. And I want to say probably no later than 3 days, because I did have plants germinate at around 3 days. And you definitely want the lights on the minute that they come up from or erupt from the soil. That way they don't get leggy and they just become a really nice strong plant. So I'm just going to move off my chair here, and I'm going to go to the bottom here. On the bottom of this grow light station, I have some tomato seeds started, which I will go over with you in a video, I think a short video. But you can see right now I have them on a heat mat, and they have a humidity dome on, so you can see that it's pretty close, almost resting on top of the humidity dome. And I want the lights as close as can be to this, just because you don't want leggy seedlings, and I can't stress that enough. I mean, sometimes it happens, but only thing I will say about tomato plants is if they do become leggy, you can at least plant them very deep. But that's the exception with tomatoes. But you can see that it is almost resting on top. My grow lights, the bulbs are not hot, so it's not going to melt the plastic. It's not going to burn any of the foliage. But I don't want it resting right on, because I don't want it shifting things around or crushing the foliage of any of the plants. But once these seeds germinate, I would say about 70% germination. I'm not going to take the domes off until a lot have come up. Also, the heat mat will get turned off once I have really good germination, because right now underneath those domes it is like a tropical setting. Tomatoes like it warm to germinate, so do peppers. And then here you can see a little bit more clear. And always read your seed packets too, to make sure what they require. If they require light for germination or darkness for germination, because I have gotten that wrong in the past. They still do come up, but I would just go according to the seed packet. So here, the only thing I will say is I'm hoping that this germinates soon, because I might just take that dome off. The dome just helps keep the moisture in a little bit more, so you don't have to water as much. Especially when I have the fan going, it tends to dry everything out. But you can see right now I have my light almost on top of this dome. But if I would take that off, I could lower it a little bit more, and that way you can see these tiny little seeds. The light will be a little bit closer. So far they look really good. They're not stretching a whole lot, so I'm not concerned, but I will keep an eye on that. I have some Stipa gigantea back there. Looks a little pitiful. And then over here you can see I have some germination too. Again, I could probably lower it just a little bit. I like the lights about 1 to 2 inches from the plant if all possible. And then over here I have peppers. And depending, like I said, I don't think I could lower it much more, just because then it'll start crushing the foliage, and I don't want that. I want them to grow as straight as possible and have a really good stem. But right now, I would say this is, if you want to measure, I would say that's about 3 inches from it, so that's not bad. I would say no more than 3 inches if you can swing that. And I put them on for about 16 to 18 hours. I don't have a timer. I would say if you don't have a set schedule, definitely get yourself a timer. It will make life easier. I should think about doing that. But right now my dog has his set schedule, so he usually has me up about 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I usually turn these off around 11, 12 o'clock at night. So, and depending, if he lets me sleep in, which would be nice sometimes, then they might get a little less light, so depending. But like I said, a timer would probably be best. But yeah, 16 to 18 hours is optimal for seedlings when they're first coming up, erupting, getting a really good strong stem, no legginess. And then over here, because, and here I have the Lone Ranger, one Verbena bonariensis, which I am hoping. Poor little dude. All alone. But yeah, I had to, this was from a seed starting kit years ago. But it's just a little platform. That way I can bump this tray up. So it's about 2 inches from the light, 1 to 2 inches. And the only reason why I had to do that is it's also sharing the same shelf with these plants here. And you can see that this moonflower is vining pretty good. So at some point I will be raising this, and that way, but I want to keep it as close to the plant. And you can see, if you look in here, it's got a really nice strong stem. But this way they can share the same shelf, and right now I just need to have these lights on. The others can stay off, and I can save on energy a little bit. You can also use books, pots, anything you have sitting around that can just bump it up just a little bit. That way they can share. And then down here, when I talk about light for germination and dark for germination, so in here, and I found this works for me. I just did this year because I was trying to, when you have darkness for germination, they say you can use black plastic, you can use cardboard, anything that just blocks out the light. But, and I did do this for the Verbena bonariensis too. And, well, I got one to come up, so, woohoo. But I'd put a humidity dome on here, and not so much to keep the humidity in because this other one would do it, but because this is kind of locked into place. So this isn't going to shift. So whenever I put this, it's just a tray on top, it's not going to move all over on me and maybe kind of push off and crush a seedling. But I can show you if it shows up on film. So this is my gomphrena, and I think I'm going to give it just one more day because there should be a lot more, and see how many more come up. And I think I will take everything off tomorrow, and then this will go under the grow lights. But nothing was up yesterday, so today was the first time I saw this, which was really cool. So I'm just going to put this back on. And then the nice thing about grow lights is this is what I do. It's when I have, because what I could have done, actually it wouldn't work because this is already, you can see here, this is as far as it'll go. So that's why I had to bump this up. But say like down here, you know, you can slant your lights or even raise it up. So let's say if you've got a plant here that's getting really tall, but you have other plants that are a little bit shorter, I just slant it. I just kind of do what the plant requires me to do. And it might look a little stupid, but it's secure and it works. That way all the plants are happy. Because you definitely don't want, like, let's say a really tall plant and have it up here, and then have a really short plant down here. It'll get leggy. And I know once my plants get a little bit bigger, then they don't need quite as much light as from what I have found out. So they need, I would say, about 14 hours, 12 hours. But at some point, a lot of these plants will be starting the hardening off process. So that's, outside light is definitely more intense than indoor light. I have a west window, so that helps with the light too. You can see over here, coleus. There's a light up here that's a little bit taller than the others. I will be taking more cuttings. I kind of like to keep everything about the same size and can't ever have too many cuttings, right? Lots of coleus plants. And then you can see down here, these I had just started maybe 2 weeks ago and just recently. And the lights kind of slant because these plants are a bit bigger than that. If I can get down here. Let me know if you do this, where you kind of slant your lights to make it work for your plants. But yeah, and then the coleus, this whole system, since this is all coleus, I probably don't put the lights on this until about noon. if my schedule allows for it. If it doesn't, then I kind of, some days it might get more light, some days it might not, but coleus is a lot more forgiving than some of these other plants. When you're starting seeds, they definitely need that strong, direct, long light for optimal growth. But hopefully this video helps you out in your seed starting and light requirements. And happy gardening, and bye for now.